So we've covered a lot of leaks from the Warzone mobile game files relating to both Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 since they started happening a little over a week ago at this point, and surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, they're still going on right now. But one thing that we haven't gotten around to talking about just yet, and maybe for the better because now there's a larger offering to discuss, is that of, alongside the upcoming title and Warzone experience, we also learned a little bit about the upcoming Call of Duty 2024 details. So yeah, before Modern Warfare 2's launch or even the official multiplayer reveal, we're already aware of a few things in regards to the title coming not next year, but likely 2 years down the road this time. So this may be the furthest out that we've seen leaks for an upcoming project in as long as I can remember. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to some of these things here? I know that some people prefer Treyarch titles over Infinity Ward titles and vice versa, so I'd love to hear your take on some of this stuff. If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and maybe even some more COD 2024 content upcoming. If you're interested in staying in the loop with all of that, I'd love to have you in the community as we chase down 500,000 subscribers. But that said, let's jump into it. So to preface this information here, once again comes from Reality UK, who for the past week or so has been pulling a ton of assets from the Warzone mobile game files. Now, for Modern Warfare 2 stuff, it kind of made more sense as to the related assets and how they could be found. I mean, Warzone mobile is being built to model the experience of the upcoming Warzone 2 experience, which in turn is being developed by Infinity Ward hand in hand with Modern Warfare 2. So you can see how one gets to the other, but for COD 2024, well, that just seems like a wildly early and totally unassociated connection, right? Well, that's what it seems like, but there were indeed files and assets for 2024, and for those wondering the validity, as with a lot lately, they've been explicitly taken down via DMCA removal, which thus confirms their legitimacy. It's kind of paradoxical to protect these assets in intellectual property. You have to acknowledge their existence, and thus everyone knows about it even more. That's how we got here. So what have we seen? Well, it started out with a few concept images and references of code to T10_USA_Mogadishu. So let's start there. T10 Mogadishu. Firstly, T10, we know that Modern Warfare 2 is T9. Like we mentioned before, that iteration being Infinity Ward's 9th installment into the franchise, though it's not the 10th installment for Treyarch, but instead, why that's relevant is because it's the 10th installment of the IW engine, which, if you recall, is now the centralized piece of tech for all upcoming installments of the Call of Duty franchise. Treyarch, Raven, presumably Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, naturally, and all the other support studios will be using the Modern Warfare engine as default going forward. You'll still be able to see those creative liberties and differences, but the sort of reset of this will allow for closer integration between all projects working with Warzone, and from a developmental standpoint, allow for seamless jumping from project to project. All devs under Activision essentially all work now on Call of Duty, so in either some capacity or another, there's going to be crossover and exchanging of developmental builds, whether being from small animation teams or something like that to entire support and builds of modes like Treyarch for Zombies and Ranked and Vanguard. So T10 denotes COD 2024, or what is rumored to be 2024, given the reports that 2023 won't receive its own standalone title. But the setting may be something that we can pull here from that string of code as well. Mogadishu, known for, at least in a militaristic sense, for the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia in '93. More notably, though, for the Black Hawk Down incident. So with references to the setting of '93, that's our first hint that we may be seeing something in the past, but at least relatively recent, at that point like 31 years. However, what's that mean for the existing rumors of, for simplicity's sake, Black Ops 6 and what we heard about this being something in the near future? Black Ops 5, for those that don't know, was Black Ops Cold War. There still are assets, even in the public build of the game, of BO5. There's designations of that, unlike the wildcard actual cards. But to me, I think those rumors of a near future setting absolutely can still apply. I mean, we've seen a bunch of flashback moments in Black Ops where time jumping was absolutely a normal thing. I mean, Vorkuta in Black Ops was a subtle jump, not as drastic as the others, a couple of years. Black Ops 2 was set in 2025, but had multiple flashbacks to Mason and Woods in 86 and 89, so a near 40-year jump at that point. Black Ops 3 had some slight jumps between 2065 and the rest of the missions in 2070. Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign in the traditional sense. We got a video about the hidden story of Black Ops 4 sometime in the next couple of weeks here. And then Cold War, you saw the jump from 1968 in Operation Fracture Jaw to the ending of 1981, depending on how you ended up deciding any of those three endings. So it's not like the idea of time jumping is entirely out there, especially for the Black Ops universe. So to me, I think we absolutely could still see some stuff here in terms of the 90s, but also still be near near future in the mid-2020s, early 2030s perhaps. But one thing that also kind of revalidates that 90s setting is that when you consider some of the artwork that was leaked here with it, there was a piece that was either concept art or a map loading screen, my guess being the former since we're still 2 years out from when the game will actually launch, but we saw that this was something that there was a desert setting with a hangar, and in the foreground was an F-117 Nighthawk stealth bomber coming out of it. So something that wasn't necessarily made specifically for that era, came about in the 80s, but it was widely publicized and known within the 90s in the Gulf War. An additional key art image, again, either concept art or map design, also showed a different map called Pillage, in which it was a soldier entering a palace of some kind. It sort of reminds me of a Nia Palace a bit, but larger in scale, and also utilizing those marble walls and large arched entryways. And for a little while, that was all that we really had in regards to COD 2024. That is until, well, yesterday, because details regarding weapons of COD 2024 leaked out, where Reality, once again, was able to pull that from the Warzone mobile game files. Now, to avoid the monotony of just reading off every single name here, you can see the listing on screen for you. Of course, a lot of that dealing with the NATO phonetic alphabet and the designations for how they name weapons as well. You might be able to pick up on some of these just by that. I mean, things like the Mike 16 is the M16, the FA Love is the FAL. So we have a lot of different names that have been seen already in COD before, but Angel, a follower of Realities, ended up tweeting out a more so converted list here for this, in which we do see a lot of these weapons already existing and some good real-life counterparts that we can pick from in regards to what we can see in COD 2024. Things like the M16, the Colt Commando for recent use was the XM4 in Black Ops Cold War, the AK-74, the SG-550, or also again recently was the Krig, the AS Val, the SG-542, the FAL, the RM2, possibly the Dragunov, the AR-10, the PU-21, also could be the HK-21, and a few others like the Spaz-12, Tech-9, MP5, among others. So honestly, a kind of healthy number of weapons that are already there. Now, whether or not that is legacy code that was then transferred over and is going to be the basis for other upcoming weapons, we don't quite know. I mean, obviously, we're still 2 years out, if not more, from even just learning about some of these weapons, let alone getting them in a playable fashion. It is interesting to see that this kind of stuff is already in the game files. To me, the thing that I find fascinating out of this is not only one, that it's just there in the game files, but also we will be seeing some of those notable weapons returning. Some first-timers perhaps from Treyarch as well, like the AS Val and the SG-540 or 542 here. That could be Treyarch's take on the Growl. But one thing that also kind of struck me here with this is that the designation of BR seems to indicate battle rifles, which would be the first formal introduction here in that capacity and sort of specifications in the Call of Duty franchise, which is kind of interesting to me. I mean, it's just subtle differentiations via cartridges and calibers, but with how much Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 and Infinity Ward as a studio have wanted to focus on weapon specifics and details, kind of surprised that this wasn't introduced here within at least Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at here at this. And it also kind of wraps up where we're at in regards to the leaks that we've seen so far for COD 2024. So really interesting that before even the official multiplayer reveal of Modern Warfare 2 in a game still 2 years and some change out, we're already learning about this stuff via the Warzone mobile game files of all places. It seems so crazy to me that we're already learning about this so early on, but here we are. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Like the sound of some of this stuff, dislike the sound of some of this stuff, whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and maybe even some more COD 2024 stuff in the near future. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.